friends, Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works workshop. The video today is kind of putting some closure to some projects that you had seen hints and bits and pieces of. This is just to kind of catch us up on a number of projects that were here on the farm. The way we're going to do this is, of course, I have this little front intro here introducing that. Then you're going to see some more on those specific projects. Some of the work that we actually did will be in some of those older video clips. And then after that, I'm going to take the camera and walk around the farm. So that'll give you an idea what this video is about. I hope you enjoy it. Hello my friends, Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works metal shop. Well, I'm on the metal side anyway, even though I am actually doing some woodworking. Depending on the order that these videos come out, I would assume you've already seen the video where I had the problem with the rental retreat, the flooding and the frozen pipes, that whole bit. Modifying the Bobcat backhoe so that we could dig a ditch or dig a hole and pour a concrete footing and out on a little tiny room there just to keep this from ever happening again. Yes, I realize that it's like taking an elephant gun to go rabbit hunting. I understand that. But you know me, anything worth doing is worth overdoing. Here's the next part of that process. You can see a structure here. And the structure is a set of concrete forms. It's already put together so that really all I have to do is take it over there and set it down in the hole. Now it's fairly heavy, so I'll use the Bobcat to pick this up and move it over there and set it down in the hole. That won't be a problem. But one of the things I wanted to figure out is where the balance point is on this. Now, you know, on something this large, you might think, well, how would you figure out where the balance point is? Because side walls go back, this is the walls that go back to the house. The house will be back here. This is the front of the little room, and there'll be a door right here somewhere. But anyway, it's just a small, it's like building a closet on the side of the house is really what it amounts to. For those of you who don't know about such things as finding the balance point, one easy way to do it is take a piece of pipe, lay it under whatever it is you want to balance, and roll it around until it balances. And that's what I did. I put a piece of pipe on this side, a piece of pipe on that side, I rolled it back and forth. Then I measured about where those pipes were at the balance point. I drilled holes in these braces here. These are just cross braces to keep it solid while I move it, basically. They'll be coming out once it's down in the ground. I put eyelets here, and I put a chain on those eyelets to lift it up. Now I'll show you how it lifts, and I'll show you that the balance point idea actually does work pretty well. So I've got it on my winch right here, and I'll just lift it up. And you can see it's almost perfectly balanced, just picking it up in one point there. That way I can reach my Bobcat under here, pick it up and carry it over there, set it right down in the hole, nice and level and square. So here's a closer look at the forms. You can see it's a double wall. The concrete obviously is going to go down in here. Now these little pieces here are just separators to keep the wall separate. I drill a hole all the way through that. I put a wire and a nail. Here's the nail and here's the wire, and then you just tighten that up, and that's what holds those separators in place. I have several across the long wall here, and I have a couple on each end, you know, about 4 on each end also. So it's a very simple set of forms. This, you know, the back wall, right now I don't have any way to contain the concrete. I'm assuming that it'll back up to the building there. The dirt and the foundation on the building presently will hold the concrete on that end. That's my assumption. If that doesn't work, I'll have to build something to retain the concrete, I assume. But otherwise, it looks like it's going to work pretty darn well. Kind of looks like I built a bar instead of a set of concrete forms. So it's about 40 inches this way and about 82 inches that way. The inside measurements will be about a 3-foot wide room. So it'd be, you know, a tight little room. I figure the room can, you know, have double duty because there's no garage on that up there. It could be a place to store lawn chairs and, you know, a ladder and a few things like that. And doing double duty to provide extra insulation on those pipes, and it should never freeze again. Hello my friends, Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works farm. We're not in the workshop today, obviously. We're outside, and we've got a project, a big project. It's taken me a day or two to get going. This is just the easy part of the project, actually. This is our bridge that comes into the farm. The bridge is actually in good shape, but I want to keep it in good shape. And the reason that I am pouring concrete over the top of it is to protect it from the weather and to protect it from the driving ruts. We're on gravel here, and tires pick up gravel and they continually grind away the surface. And there's some ruts and pitting on where the tires go. So I'm pouring a 3-inch skim over the top of it to keep the bridge up in good shape. Preventative maintenance, I guess you'd say. That's going to be happening here within inside of an hour. The concrete truck's supposed to be here at 8 o'clock. It is now about 7 a.m. or maybe just a minute or two after that. I'll show you the other project, which is smaller in size but bigger in stature, if that makes any sense. If you follow my videos closely, you will have seen that I had to rework my backhoe to fit on my bigger Bobcat. The reason I wanted to get that working was I had to dig out this deep pit here so that I could build these forms. This was a much bigger project in terms of work to get it ready, but I think we're ready, so we'll hope it holds together until the concrete gets here. The slab has been leveled and smoothed with just the bull float at this point, and that may be all I do. As you can see, we've got the concrete poured in the forms here for the footing. It was too hectic to set up the camera with the truck here and everything. I poured this extra little pad that'll be a landing for the stairs. I'm replacing the ramp and the stairs on the front of the building as well, so this little pad could just be helpful if we can get it moved up there without it breaking, and we probably can with the Bobcat and the forks. You know, there's what it looks like with my wonderful finishing job. I'm not a concrete finisher, but it's as smooth as I can get it. It's really actually very difficult to smooth concrete out. Just doesn't like to get real smooth. Hopefully it doesn't rain on this yet. I'll probably have to cover this whole area again. I've been covering this wall with a tarp every evening, and I'll probably have to cover this yet this evening, and probably even the bridge. But I'm waiting till the last minute so that the concrete can get as hard as it's possible. Well, now that you've seen more on those projects and how they were done, let's take a walk through the farm, and I'll go handheld with the camera, so sorry about the shaky cam. I don't have anything to stabilize it, unfortunately. But we're going to take a little walk from right here from my desk out the door, show everything, and that way you'll kind of have a sense of where everything is located. Okay, well, first thing we're going to show is that's my desk, and that's how I keep the light when you're watching me. That light is always shining in my face when I'm talking to you. But that's my desk. That's where I do the live shop talks. and then we'll just walk out this door. Well, coming through that door, we come into our little foyer. This is where UPS delivers all the goods right here. They just drop them off right here in this little opening, and then we go out the front door. And this is my beautiful spray booth. That's what I call it. This is the view out the front door. And our, parking lot here. We've got our flag hanging. And we're going to walk down the driveway this way. By the way, we might as well just take a quick detour. Here's the backhoe attachment that you heard me talk about. That fits on the Bobcat, and you can't really see it very well, but you can see the bucket there in the front that digs, the arm and everything. Really does a good job. Since you saw the last video on that a long time ago, I put a new seat on it. But that thing really works well. The way I adapted it for the Bobcat worked perfectly. Now we're going to walk down the driveway where we started a minute ago. Gonna have to trim these trees. The bridge is right there that you saw where we poured the concrete. That car leaving out, I don't know if you can see that, is one of our guests from Tennessee. They're here, they're just out doing some sightseeing and things. I'll show you something that I haven't really shown before that I'm really into, and I haven't been able to be very successful over the last several years, though we do have martins back in here this year. I don't see a single one right now on camera, wouldn't you know? But we do have purple martins back in the house, and we finally got them after years. We used to have them a lot, and then the hawks got really bad. And anyway, bottom line is they're back. They're nesting. Just one pair, I believe. But that means that next year we ought to have quite a few, because they usually come back and in droves. So I'm hopeful that next year we'll have a bunch of purple martins. And I'm going to work on that and fix that up even better for next year. This is our chicken house here. And you can see my wife's been out early this morning and already got that opened up. The chickens are out free ranging. There's our sweet corn. It's quite a patch, isn't it? It's pretty thick. There'll be a lot of corn off of that. And sorry about the shaky cam. Doing the best I can. This is the bridge, and you can see the new concrete on there. And this concrete is domed so that the water doesn't sit on it in any direction. The water runs right off, which is really good, because the old one was rutted out, and all we did was just put a surface over it, of course. The original didn't seem to have a crack in it anywhere. I mean, they did it well when they did it. But we just wanted to make sure that the water didn't start sitting down in there and causing freezing and thawing and all that. So this cap on there just is basically all it is just a cap, just to keep it dry and clean. And it should work. We've talked to a lot of concrete people, and they normally don't advise pouring concrete over concrete because it will crack the same way the old concrete cracked. But I said, look, I'm telling you for sure, the old concrete hasn't cracked at all. And that's very unusual for concrete, I'll admit. Almost all concrete cracks. But for whatever reason, that concrete never did. Anyway, so you can see here our new concrete's been on there, quite a few months now. Been driving over it, and you don't see any cracks in it either. Which, that kind of tells me the old stuff below isn't cracked. Because we didn't really reinforce our cap very much. We just put a little bit of wire in it. Didn't really need much reinforcement because it's just sitting there. It's not weight bearing, in other words. Here's the big metal building. When I first bought this farm, I bought a kit and built that building. Thought you might just get a kick out of seeing that a little bit. It's 42 by 72. And I got it really dirt cheap. I think it was only like $12,000 for the kit. It was ridiculous. You couldn't touch that nowadays. You can't see very well in here, it's dark, but maybe it'll focus on those trusses, these steel trusses. They don't look like much, but they weigh about 800 pounds. They don't look like they would weigh that much, but they do. They're a pretty heavy duty angle iron and rebar and all that stuff across there. And I hadn't thought about the weight of them when I bought the kit. I thought, well, I can put those up, you know. So then, this was after the truck had already left, I think it was South Dakota, to bring it here. I called them and I said, you know, I got to thinking, I bet those trusses are really heavy. How much do they weigh? And they said, oh, they're about 850 pounds or something like that. And I went, oh. I was thinking a few hundred pounds, you know, a couple hundred pounds or something. I wasn't expecting 800 and some pounds each. And so I had to devise a way with my Bobcat to lift those up there. But we got it done. And each one of them sitting on a little concrete pad, basically. Concrete goes down in the ground a ways. But it's been here a little over 20 years now, and or about 20 years, and it's holding up. Here's our old doctor's buggy that's going to be for sale real soon. If you're in the market and you see this video reasonably quickly, you might be the new owner. Make me an offer. It's a really nice buggy. It's been kept inside the barn. We just pulled it out a day or two ago, but it's always been kept inside. So even the wheels are up in pretty good shape. We used to pull it with horses. We pulled it quite a bit, actually. All right, so let's take a walk on up the road here. We'll go up to where the rental retreat is. By the way, that's a spring house. There's a bunch of water that comes out of there, runs under a pipe, and fills this pond. The pond continually runs out right over there, runs out and runs back down to the main creek that we just crossed on the bridge. When you come in our farm, you'll see those two pillars there. You'll be coming in from that direction, coming this way, and our name and things is on the pillar there. In Valley Springs Ranch, the Rosas. And then you pull in and you see this sign, and you can see there it tells you which way to go. And the rental retreat is right here, straight in front of you. So I always tell everyone, when you come through the two white pillars, just go straight ahead. You'll run right into the retreat. And basically you would if you go straight ahead. I built this building totally from scratch myself. Believe it or not, I built it for around $25,000, $26,000 when I built it. Just the shell, you know, not including anything inside really. Then I just recently, just in the last couple of months, built this new little stairs and deck and railing and all that. And so that's what that looks like. This building is really strange. See how the sun is actually hitting that side of the building right there? You can just see a little light of it. This building is the only building I've ever seen in my whole life where in one day the sun hits all four sides. That's no joke. It's just at the right tilt angle that the sun hits those two sides in the morning. It goes over the sun comes across over here, it hits that side, sets over here, hits this side. Hits all four sides of the building. It's crazy. People, when I tell people that, they think, yeah, right, sure. But it does. It just happens to be at the right angle. And here is the little addition I put on. And you can see it's not completely finished. In other words, we didn't paint everything and we didn't put the doorknobs on. The door is more or less just wedged in there. A little trivia on that particular door. I was looking to buy just an inexpensive door, insulated door, and that was a return, and it was on the rack, and it was like $150 cheaper than the exact same door just like it. And I didn't see anything wrong with it. So I bought it thinking that whatever's wrong with it, I'll be able to fix it, you know. Well, as soon as I started to install it, it was easy to figure out what was wrong with it. The hinges were mounted on the wrong side of the trim. It's hard to explain that to you. You probably think I'm making that up, and you think that it was me that was wrong, that it's a left-handed door and you're trying to put it in a right-handed installation, or vice versa. That wasn't the case. They physically put the hinges on the wrong side of the trim. This kind of trim, somehow or another, I forget how it was now, that trim was on the other side with the hinges or something. It was something really stupid like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. But anyway, I just took it all apart, rebuilt it, and put it up, and saved 150 bucks. It only took me about 15 minutes to fix it, so it was no big deal. You can see I don't have a step up to it yet. It's kind of a tall step, but that's okay. This is just really for some light storage, like lawn chairs and maybe a little ladder and stuff, and a few things like that. But it's mainly to provide an extra wall of insulation before you get to the water pipes that come up the outside of the building there. And that should keep it from ever freezing again. And in fact, it already got cold a couple of times after I put that on there, and it didn't seem to cause any problem whatsoever. And I can always put a little heat lamp in there or some small heater if I really felt it was necessary, but I don't think it's going to be necessary with all the extra insulation, because I've triple insulated the pipes themselves, and which is better than they ever were, and then I've got the insulation around this, so it shouldn't be a problem anymore. And then we look back this way. There's, of course, is the metal building we were just in a minute ago, and you look back through here, and the workshop is basically right through there, where we just walked from. And I believe that's going to conclude the tour, so I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. And if you would, click that thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe. And check out my website for merchandise. We've got a whole bunch of merchandise on there now. T-shirts and training and strings and songs for sale. And you can even rent a stay here at the Rental Retreat. It's a beautiful place to come and stay for a day or two. Thanks for watching.